creation.
Yes.
I think creation supersedes purpose.
Yes.
If you're not being creative in some way, and creativity comes in lots of different forms, then actually the purpose doesn't even matter.
When I meet people and they're like, you're a gamer? Yeah. I said, see, the way you said that sounds like it's more of a you problem than mine. You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was just me and you talking, but you brought all your preconceived notions with you, so I'm going to talk to all y'all. You know? Erykah Badu and I grew up in the same hood. South Oak Cliff is the hood, right? She didn't even believe I was from the hood when I met her. And I was like, why don't you believe me? You're you. What do you mean? We both made it out. But it was safer to play inside than it was outside.
Of course.
This lady that I call my dear was like, go in there and go play your video game.
To keep you safe.
Yes. And I watched gaming be an equalizer for me and build community around me because I was the girl with the system. I remember as a kid going to, like, in New York we call them bodegas, but like, I don't even know what we call them. They're just like corner stores in Texas. But you play on an arcade machine and two strangers are now magnetized to this piece of hardware that they get to play, and you play rounds until you run out of quarters.
Yeah.
And then you leave and it's like, well, bye, friend.
Aww.
And it's like, I don't know if I'll ever see you again. And I'm like, I gotta build a world where we can first go to a place in real life and this connection doesn't have to end. I started in an apartment, great proof of concept, until I was about to get kicked out of the apartment because there were tens of thousands of people going every single day, and I had to combine them all because all of them are residential spaces, and then we moved into our Times Square space.
I mean, Times Square is
But the point is that, like, people were it was the, if you build it, they will come.
They will come.
And now I find purpose.
So you've got so many buckets full of knowledge and wisdom and power. It's just there.
In the words of Game of Thrones, in my British accent, you honor me.
The cutest. Hi and welcome to The New Mind. Now, before we go into today's episode, I just want to ask you a big favour. Please subscribe because it really supports the channel to grow, and it allows me to continue to get amazing guests and to share these incredible life stories with you. The truth is, I learn something from every single guest, and I know you will too. So hit that subscribe button and make me very, very happy. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate you all. Now enjoy the episode. So I'm going to introduce you now, even though we've been speaking for hours. So it's LettaJ Watts. First of all, and I'm going to say this because it's imperative, you are possibly the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean that.
That
and I've seen
so
a lot of beautiful women. And I don't wish to say that to categorise, but you genuinely are. And we had the whole conversation about photos earlier, how everyone thinks if you're beautiful, it's an easy thing to do. And it's not, because everyone's got an angle. But you are so beautiful, and because you're on camera and some people will be watching rather than listening. And if you are listening, please go and watch, because you're a feast for the eyes.
That is so beautiful. Thank you.
No, it's true.
I very much think the same thing about you.
Well, I would love to put myself in the same category, but I shan't. Also, just to say, if anyone hears people in and out, it's Scott, who is a previous guest and a great friend of mine, and he's here with us, but he's up and down the stairs, so there might be some shuffling and some noise and some movements, because that's how you are here through Scott.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, you are a multifaceted being, for sure. You are a music artist, international, and I sort of got it wrong earlier because I said off camera that you'd been R&B music, and actually you weren't. You were soulful rock
initially,
and that for me is beautiful, because I said to you, you would compare to Tina Turner. My beautiful best friend Susie, who's no longer with us, loved Tina. She embodied Tina, and I said to you, she would have loved you. She would have loved you so much. She would have done, genuinely. You've moved through that time, and you are now what can only be described as an entrepreneur in a space that doesn't normally get associated with females. But you do so many different things that it's not really fair for me to keep talking. I should pass the buck to you. But also, before I do, the conversation today is not just about you and your work. It's about who you are as a person.
Yes.
And our thoughts and our spirituality and the embodiment of that as well. So for anyone that's thinking, well, I'm not into entrepreneurship or music, stick with it, because this is going to blow your mind. It will, because our conversation already has been so magnetically beautiful that I cannot wait for people to listen to this. They're going to get so much from it.
Yay. We love that.
So tell me a bit about, well, actually, you started with a really gorgeous story. Well, you told me a really gorgeous story, and I kind of want to start with this. This is the hide and seek story.
Yeah.
So before we move on, because this says so much about you, if you don't mind sharing it.
Oh my gosh, you're going to start it off with the most emotional story.
I'm so sorry, but I feel like it just says who you are before we know anything more.
Yeah, I mean, my mom would agree with you.
Yes.
So when I was a little girl, my mom and I, it was just the two of us, and at the time, and we had this like 1-bedroom house in the hood in like Oak Cliff where I grew up. And she said she hid from me. It's interesting because like, what makes a parent do that, right? But like, I, it's interesting, and I don't know if I ever asked her what made her do that, but she hid from me, and I was looking for her, and she said for like a minute, I'm like, "Mommy," you know, and I remember. So there are moments of this I remember. I remember running through the living room and looking under like a chair. Kids have no idea where to look for people, and then you look under like a table, and you go in the kitchen, and then. And so she got worried because she stopped hearing me call her name, and she was hiding behind the shower curtain.
So you would never go
no kids don't know to do that, like And so she came out and she started looking for me, and she heard me saying like mumbling or something. And so she went into the bedroom, and there was an armoire, like a chest that was kind of in the middle of the bedroom. And I was kneeling on the right side of it, and I was praying. And I said, "God, I don't know where my mom is, but I know that you're going to take care of her. And I know that you're going to take care of me."
See, this is the second time I've heard it, and it still makes my heart go all funny.
I looked up, and she was sitting on the edge of the bed, just like face full of tears. And she just grabbed me and she hugged me, and she was just like, "You are so anointed. And God loves you and will always be with you."
See, that is the beginning of who you are. It's the connection to something bigger, deeper.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something almost ancestral in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a grounding and a knowingness.
Yes.
That you're, as you say, at that point in time, you're on your own with your mum before your brother and sister were around.
Right.
And so you don't know that your mum is somewhere.
Yeah.
You think she's gone.
Right.
But at that tender age, what, 4, did you say?
Yeah.
You're praying to God to look after her and to look after you. That's wisdom. That's ancestral.
Yeah, I think so. And we've had like I would say a pretty tumultuous relationship, but parents they never feel adequate enough. Yeah. I've learned that from like friends. Also talking to my parents, but she did a very good job laying the kind of foundation that has enabled me to literally be the person I am to this day.
And I can tell you, before we get into who you are today, that it's fascinating because it's very rare to find beauty, intelligence, true spiritual feeling and energy, kindness, determination in one person. You often get facets of that, but from what I can gather today, you embody all of it. It's like all of those parts work in harmony as well. I'm sure it's not always been that way, but now as we sit here, there's a real harmonious balance of parts. And it's fascinating because the area that you're now in really is about the curious balance of the human experience, no matter who you are. So let's explore that, because that's the interesting bit.
Yes.
Let's go to what made you want to be an artist in the first place, because I think entrepreneurship, is about artistry.
I agree.
Yeah. So talk to me about that.
I've always been really musical.
Yeah.
I started playing the violin when I was 5, and my violin teacher, Alan Carpenter, he was so great. I picked up on it so quickly.
Wow.
That he was like, what about a viola? And he played it for me, and I fell in love with, because the violin mimics the human voice, but in soprano. And the viola is the alto. So it's really the harmony.
Wow.
And then he played, so I started playing the viola, and then I started playing the cello. and I played all 3 of them fluidly.
I love strings so much.
So much.
So
I mean,
beautiful.
to this day, like even when you hear Game of Thrones,
It's the strings.
It's the cello. It's like
Yeah.
gripping that bass.
Yeah.
And so violin at 5, viola at 6, cello at 7, alto sax at 9, piano at 11. And I've been singing my entire life, like competing UIL competitions. And so music was always a part of just the thing that I loved.
Yeah.
And I guess there's just some things I think, you know, there are some parts of us that truly are, in my opinion, just like God, because they're not of this stratosphere.
I agree.
Because music was like a part of my resting place, the thing that made my soul smile, even before you really knew what that meant. It's like in the midst of like, you know, areas I grew up that were in peace, like you just, you know, music could block out all the noise, you know? And there was just an inherent sensibility to like learning it. And you know, when you learn like the violin, usually in America, I don't know other places, but you learn like the Suzuki method, which is numerical. And interestingly enough, because societally they make music and math 2 different hemispheres.
They do, but actually the code of music is
mathematical.
Yeah.
And it's why I've always been great at math and loved it. And I mean, you're starting out learning numbers to play a musical instrument.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
And so I never understood why like a world is so binary. And it was so conflicting for me because the world was always like, are you creative or are you technical? Oh, you're unfocused.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, all of this is like foundational because of course my company now is Coexist, which is what I've been striving to do for my whole life.
So,
exist with my creative and my technical
It's just
self.
fascinating already. I love it. Even from that first part of learning music,
right?
They were separating things and that stayed with you for so long.
Yes. When you learn sheet music, so the cool thing is I learned the numerical method with the strings up until I started playing the alto sax. And then you had to learn sheet music. Yeah. And I just started learning it immediately. Just looking at like, you know, EGBDF, it was like, what is it? Every Good Boy Does Fine. I mean, it's been so long now. And then you're looking at like the spaces. So it's like 5 lines and there's 4 spaces and you're looking at the different tempos and the key signatures. All of this stuff is mathematical. Yeah. The beats and the metronomes and just the rhythm, all of it. And it came so naturally. And at first, I remember the teacher, who I don't even remember my band teacher, funny enough, but because I only played alto sax for 1 year in school, but then I played for like 5 years. But he gave me the French horn at first. And because he was like, we don't have any alto saxes. I was like, I don't want to play this. I'm 9. I was like, thank you, but I don't want to play this. And man, it's just when I heard the sax, which by the way, mimics the human voice, but in a woodwind instrument.
Wow.
So it was always song.
What were you hearing?
Which part? Like when I
So I say that because with music, when we spoke about the strings, and when I hear the strings in any piece of music, my heart, I don't know what it is, but it just feels like love. Yeah. So when you're talking about the mimicking of the human voice, right? I guess what are you hearing in terms of emotion through the instrument, right?
Like even when you're playing the strings and you learn how to create vibrato. Yeah. And when you are pressing your lip against the reed of the alto sax and you learn how to play it with vibrato. Yeah. That vibrato is like the passion of the human voice. It's vulnerability.
Yes, there you go.
You know, the crescendo, the decrescendo, just the elongation, the manipulation of a note. Yeah. It's not stagnant. Yeah. You know, it's dynamic and it's like, and it takes you on this journey that's outside of yourself. Yes. It just isn't physical.
But do you know why I asked that question? Yeah. Because before we started to record, well, we were recording, but it probably won't be included. We were talking about words. And we were talking about the difference between the English, the American English, the Polish. Right. And actually I said, funnily enough, as the world evolves, we need words less. It's about feeling. Right. And through the instruments, you're describing passion, vulnerability, love. And that's the point, isn't it? This is where music isn't just a thing to listen to.
Right. And you know what? And for me, it never is. Yeah. Right? Like when I go to my lounge and they don't have the music on, I'm like, what are you doing? Because it's an energy.
It is an energy.
It can shift, like, in my opinion, like the gravitational pull of space and time.
Wow. Yeah, I hear you. I do.
It just changes everything. It livens up something, or it can bring down something, but it is so powerful in its symbiosis that it just captures you and it moves you with it. It's like a current.
Do you know, it's funny you should say that. I know we're going slightly off topic, but as I was talking about Susie before, when she was dying, she was in the hospice. And my favourite voice on planet Earth to this day and forever will always be Luther Vandross.
Oh, wow.
Like, that voice for me is just... Anyway, so she was lying on, and I told you she loved Tina, so we were playing music, and then I played Any Love by Luther Vandross. It was a live performance, which is my favourite performance of him ever on a show, which is Jules Holland's show here. And it's the most exquisite live performance I've ever seen of Luther. And I started to play it, and she'd been really quiet and non-verbal, and she opened her eyes.
Oh, wow.
And then she closed her eyes again. And I just thought, and that was maybe a week, 2 weeks, but probably a week before she died. And so that voice, that, like you say, the shifting for someone who was dying to open her eyes and have the energy to do that at this sound and that vibration, it gave her that energy. And so it's not over the top to say that it shifts the vibration or it shifts the energy. I know some people will really understand that and some people won't. Because some people just listen to music and they listen to the technicality or the production. But it's the feeling. It's the feeling. And that's what's so interesting about you, even when you're talking about the violin, you're not describing the violin. You're describing the emotion.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because it's so powerful. And I, you know, the funny thing is I'm on the technical side. I love hearing a symphony of music and picking out the different instruments because all of them represent feelings.
Yes.
The violin is so vulnerable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you have like the bass, which is this support.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like a blanket.
Yeah.
I literally kind of almost see like an opera where the woman, she's this damsel and she's singing and she's pouring out her heart. And then the bass comes in and it says, it's okay. You can continue doing that. And I'm going to support you through it. And it fits into this pocket where now they're creating together. And then the alto comes in, the viola or something comparable. Because really an alto saxophone is the alto, the soprano is similar. But it's like the best friend. You pick up a best friend and now you're walking hand in hand and life feels more complete. Yeah. And you just have these three instruments and then the cymbals, this celebration, you know?
Wow.
And then you have like the rhythm that puts a skip in your step, you know, when you play with the drums. But like the 808 is the drama. Dun, dun, you know? And then you've got like the hi-hat, the same cymbals, but the hi-hat give you something different than the celebration. It's the anticipation. And you are literally building a conflagration of emotions together that I don't know how I feel that's like my language. And when I am sitting at the Philharmonic or whatever, I'm like in tears. I low-key can't even wear mascara because I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, and it just feels so passionate and telling. And it's literally a story. Yeah, for me, you know?
Well, it's the story that this goes back to the ancestral stuff. It's the story that your cells remember.
Yeah, oof.
There you go. That's what it is. It's the story that your cells remember. That's what that emotional experience is, because why is it so felt?
Right.
Unconsciously. Right. Why is it so deep?
Right.
And you've maybe never heard that piece of music before.
Right.
But it just touches you in a way it brings a life to something that's been laying dormant, I think. And that's why I love your description of it. Oh. And that's why it's so...
I don't think I've ever done that before. Like, well, audibly detect, just like ripped apart music.
But like it's that. But how powerful to be for people to listen to, because I think, again, it's an interpretation, but I think that's what I said earlier about all of the parts of you are in harmony. Yeah. And the way you describe the orchestra, you know, there's that harmony in what you say. And I think what's equally as interesting about that is when we try and put people or sounds or art into a box.
Right.
We're creating this space of rigidity.
Yes.
And inflexibility. And you talked about the coexist thing. There's something about you which just wants to break through that.
Yes.
And to come out of the cage and just be free like a bird. And I think that's where I'm so intrigued by your energy, because it's such a freedom.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I feel like you're very free. And I know it wouldn't have been easy to get there.
Right.
Because you said earlier, as you were growing through the music industry and becoming who you were, they kind of wanted to pigeonhole you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the nature of that business. I think, Scott, like he says, I talk about R&D and research and development. And he goes, well, there's a guy that influenced him. And he said, R&D is replicate and duplicate.
Yeah.
And I think it's an important distinction, because that's not innovation.
Yes.
By definition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think the construct of what the music business really supports and perpetuates is the ability to rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And so you walk into a deal and they're like, these are the boxes. Which one do you fit in? And I'm like, well, I'm like all three of these, But then as a songwriter, I'm all of them,
Yeah.
So it's like there is, as a matter of fact, there's my friend has a podcast, and I literally said, what is that? That's the sound of me breaking out of that box you tried to put me in.
Wow.
And it's just, I think it's so disturbing to feel the need to confine any human being, first of all, at all.
Yeah.
We are so vast.
Yes.
So multifaceted. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you that? How do you have enough materials to construct a box big enough?
It's the same in any in any space, isn't it? Even in the therapy space, I think there's an expectation of, as a therapist, not so much these days, but certainly when I started, of how you've got to dress,
right?
How you must talk, how you must look,
right?
The methods you must use.
Yes.
There's no freedom in that training, and so similar feelings of, I'm not going to be that person.
Right.
I'm going to do this my way.
Correct.
Safely, ethically, all of those things, but I cannot fit into a box.
Right.
I mean, you mentioned earlier as well, just to give context to the box thing, is that you were diagnosed with ADD as a 6-year-old. Obviously, I mentioned that I also had the ADHD diagnosis, and I said earlier, and I say it all the time, that I believe that most of this comes from epigenetic traumas or traumas in your own lifestyle. But actually, the systems, be it the music, be it school, be it whatever, tries to get you to fit into their ideal.
Yes.
And I feel like from so early on, you just knew. I mean, go back to the little girl kneeling on the floor praying to God.
Right.
You were praying to something that was much, much bigger. It wasn't seen, but it was felt.
Yes.
It wasn't in a box.
Right.
It was a feeling that you were really pulling into.
Absolutely.
Leaning into.
Yes.
And so to then go to your music career.
Right.
It's the same thing, isn't it? It's too big for that. You can't fit into a box.
Right, of course. I mean, because of course, when music is your feeling and it is your language, it's like, where do you put a cap on language?
Yeah.
And how do you confine feelings? It almost feels like that's like being in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
And they're giving you pills to say, I need you to suppress the things that are troubling you, when you really need to express them, talk about them, heal from them.
Do you know who I think of straight away?
Who?
Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what they did. She would have had some issues. They literally put her into a box. She lost her mind.
Right.
She probably sought external stimuli such as drugs, whatever, to get her through that time.
Right.
She loses the grip of reality.
Right.
They put her into psychiatric care.
Yep.
And there she is now. And so everything you've said, and it's quite topical at the moment because Kevin Federline has written a book and he talks about that time.
Okay.
Some people are against the fact that he's done it because he's bringing up the mental health issues and the fact that she'd had a lesbian romp or something like this.
Yeah.
And it's questionable as to why he's doing it. The point being is that it reminds us, though, of how toxic that industry is.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look, I think society has decided what normal is, what's acceptable, what's appropriate. I hate all these words.
Yeah, me too.
All of them.
Me too.
I tell like Scott is one of my best friends. I tell him all the time, I was like, I need you to stay weird. I built a world for weird.
And how funny that it's
Exactly. That's the first thing he showed me.
Yeah.
It's like, we are multifaceted. We are polymaths. Because obviously there's so many words, but
Yeah.
at least they have some that describe the non-neurotypical.
Yes, that's right.
And just innovators, they've never been typical.
No.
You can't build something new, first of all, if it already exists.
True.
It is literally coming from a part of your existence
Yeah.
that it needs to be brought to fruition.
It does.
It has to, or you're literally not fulfilled.
Yeah. People talk about purpose.
Right.
But what you've just said there is creation.
Yes.
I think creation supersedes purpose.
Yes.
If you're not being creative in some
Right.
way, and creativity comes in lots of different forms,
Right.
then actually the purpose doesn't even matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Because even creation has purpose, which means it has
Correct.
to exist before you
Yes.
get there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you know what? I say this a lot, that I think everyone is searching for fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like that word, even, I have this interesting relationship with the word happy. Like, I don't live to be happy.
Me neither.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up. I wouldn't say I had a happy childhood. I wouldn't want to do it over, because I would want to. So I'm happier, even though I'm always exhausted, because we're entrepreneurs, so we're always exhausted.
Yeah.
But I've never been happier in my life, with all of the ups and downs, the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. But I don't chase happiness, because I know how fleeting it is. And there's something about the sustained quality of whatever joy is. And I put this on my story. I was like, does happiness and joyous mean the same thing to you?
It doesn't to me.
It doesn't to me either. And joy feels like this. It doesn't feel like an emotion. It feels like a state of being.
Yes.
And attached to joy feels like gratitude.
Yes.
And, like things that in the midst of this stuff that is not so pleasant, I'm still grateful.
Yeah.
That I can be of sound mind, that I'm aware, that I'm here, that I understand, that I know what I'm going to do with this experience and this information later. It's like you're like ingesting it, and you're capable of like swallowing it, diffusing the bomb, and it won't even implode, because you are in control of as much as you can be in control of, which is what you do with it. It's true.
You are it. That's
What's it?
Joy.
Oh,
you are joy.
Aw, I hope so.
No, but you are. And even when you're, because something you said there about, but it doesn't implode because you're in control of it.
Yeah.
You're not in control of it. You are it. And it's just whether it's the alignment. So it's whether it's the Jungian theory that we touched on prior in the other room, is that you've got light and dark, and neither is good or bad. But the state of joy is something that's always in you. Like, if you think about happiness and love and all of these words, I have the same issue with the word love, because if I love you, I have to feel love in me. Love has to be in me. And someone said to me once, how do you get love in you? And I said, well, you are love. You are joy. Because the higher level, when we're born, and the moment that we come into this world, we are the higher self. Everything, and potentially you could argue that in the womb as well, but everything that's external is what changes that natural state of love and joy, that energy. Because if you believe in God or the higher power, you're just a reflection of it. You aren't here for any other reason than that exists first.
I agree.
So that's the state. It's only the constructs of what you've experienced that take you away from the state. That's why it can't implode, because you are joy.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's this book called Proof of Heaven. Have you heard of it?
I have, but I haven't read it.
It's the one part that I take away is when the author, when he was in a coma, when he came to, and of course he was a staunch atheist, right? Brilliant neurosurgeon. Everything can be explained scientifically. He came to, and his wife, who was the only person that believed in him, she wouldn't let them pull the plug.
Wow.
Would not let them. And they're like, ma'am, this has been an extended state. And even if he comes to, he's not going to be the brilliant neurosurgeon that was your husband. This is like a decorated, all the pedigree, degrees, Harvard, all the things, right? And she said, I said no. And he came to and was clearly so brilliant. He wrote the book and was still traveling everywhere. And he says, the one thing I felt in what should have felt like an abyss, what I thought it was, what I described it was, all I felt was mind-blowing love. I was surrounded by love, ensconced, immersed in love. Everything bad that I thought about in the world was overpowered by love.
He had to go into that coma.
Had to. Changed his entire existence, mentality. I mean, if like, you're talking about purpose.
Yeah.
Like, that is what and it's bacterial meningitis, right? So like unexplainable.
Yeah.
To this day, they don't know where it's contracted, how you actually contracted.
Yeah.
And so unexplainable scientifically, first off. And that's where you are. And now you're in a place where you needed to be isolated enough to see a bigger picture.
That doesn't happen by accident.
No, it does not.
See, that's synchronicity.
Yes. Like it can't. It can't.
It's truthfully, those moments for me, they always literally make everything stops for a second because it's almost like it's so powerful, that information, that if you don't absorb it, if you don't take that moment to stop for a second and absorb it, you're missing something really, really important. Proof of Heaven. That's the book.
Yes.
Everyone get that book.
Yes.
Because I feel that goes to everything that we were saying before about the way that everything happens in harmony, right? Even when it doesn't feel like it is, right? And you know, when I was saying about the Jungian, the light, the dark, right? It's not good or bad. So if you're in a coma, you could say, right, in that moment it feels bad, but actually the reality is, without that moment, he wouldn't have experienced the purity of love.
Yes. So true.
Yeah.
And like wife, children, you have this full life.
Yeah.
And you have,
but you're not fulfilled.
You're not fulfilled.
And he didn't even know it until he nearly lost it.
And that reminds me of like what you said in the other room about how people live their lives. And it's when they're older or about to die that they really feel kind of like what really matters, what it's all about. Yeah. To live life and play by the rules and acquire all of these things. It's like, you know, it sounds so cliche because everyone's like, oh, you know, this doesn't make you happy. And then there's that word again, right? But it's like, is that the goal?
I don't think it is the goal.
No, but happiness shouldn't be the goal in it of itself.
What's the point? Because that's so one-dimensional.
Yes.
How do you experience happiness if you've only got happiness?
Right.
How do you really know it's happiness?
Yes.
You have to have the other ingredients to understand why that ingredient tastes so good.
Right. It's true. And I think people, you know, because I mean, look, we even talk about the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so when you grab it, which you will so many times, there's an example I use. I said, you can win the lottery. And you are so happy. You're ecstatic, beside yourself. And then someone says, oh, I'm so sorry, Ella, you have a phone call. And your parent passes away.
Yeah.
You are no longer happy.
No.
You're an unhappy millionaire or whatever the amount is.
Yeah.
That's how fleeting that emotion is.
Yes, because that's excitement.
Correct. It's excitement.
Yeah.
And you're like happy that you're excited.
But people are chasing excitement because they think it's happiness.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Which means they're chasing a thing. Yeah. Hoping it gets them to a place. Yeah. But the place is short-lived.
And that's escapism.
Yes.
It's not actual.
Correct.
What we were talking about before, the state of joy.
Yes.
Which you already are. Yes. And when you realize you're already love and you're already joy, you don't need to chase anything.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's not fun to chase sometimes, but you have to understand that's what you're doing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even in, you know, we talk about these British words, right? A fulfillment center is not when something was packaged or assembled. It means it's done.
Yes. True that.
It's done. This transaction has been fulfilled. There's no going back.
Yeah.
This is like it's a permanent place.
Complete.
This status is permanent. It is fulfilled.
Do you know what's really interesting about this conversation though? Because it actually leans into the gaming industry, which is now your space.
Yeah.
Because that for me, when we talk about excitement, when we talk about chasing, when we talk about escaping, when we talk about fulfilled, all of that applies to gaming.
Yeah.
So and I'll be honest with you, that's why I find you so fascinating, because there's this vast spiritual grounding, this understanding, because I genuinely believe that you've been here before many times. The wisdom that you seep is just so rich and so glorious. It really is. And then the world that we're talking about, the excitement, the lottery win. I know that with gaming, and I'm not a gamer, but I understand it from a neurological point of view. It's all about the dopamine hit, and about, as well as that, because obviously that's a big part of it, about the journey. Now, when we think about dopamine in particular, we think about dopamine as a reward, but dopamine is also the part of us, or the neurotransmitter, that allows us to find the reward. So without small drips of dopamine, we don't have the motivation. And a lot of the gaming industry is about going through the journey to complete the journey, to then move on to the next journey, from my understanding. So again, with the music industry, we finish an album, we can't wait for the next. There's this idea that once it's finished, we move on to the next. There's the and actually it was you, Scott, that said this to me once. He's in the room, everybody. I'm not just talking to an empty chair. He said something to me once, and I've used it many, many times, which is people are either looking in the past, they want nostalgia, or they want newness. They don't necessarily know how to, he didn't say it exactly like this, I'm paraphrasing, but they don't necessarily know how to be in the state of joy. It's going back and going, oh, it was so much better, the rose tinted glasses, or I can't wait for the new thing. And I don't know if it was you that said this, but it certainly came from that conversation about, you buy a new car, within 3 months you're bored of it, you want the next one. That's I've completed this one, I want the next. So how do you marry those two worlds up?
Well, the interesting thing is gaming, the industry is very multidimensional.
Yeah.
And the truth is, from a player's perspective, which is the consumer, it's fulfilling.
Yeah.
And from the creator, which is the developer's perspective, it's fulfilling.
I love this.
So all of this really comes full circle for me. So I'll give this one example, and then I'm going to tell you what I said to Scott yesterday, because Comic-Con is happening right now.
That's right.
In London, right? So for one thing, when you play a game, you start from the beginning. The greatest thing that can happen, no matter how many hours, and I mean, it can take over 20,000, it can take hours perfecting a game. But if it's like an RPG, a role-playing game, you want to beat the game.
Yeah.
That is the most fulfilling thing, because it means you were dedicated, relentless enough, even disciplined enough to prioritize finishing something you started. So it's not even just, the escapism is almost the dopamine hit, because this virtual world might be more pleasant than the real one for you.
sure.
But the fulfillment you feel like, and it doesn't end at just playing the game. It's like you now get to talk about something that other people have done and some have not done. The ones that haven't done are admiring you, it's like, whoa, you beat the game? And so the fulfillment is so emotional. It's celebratory. It's adulation. It is reward on the highest level, because it is done. You can experience it again, but you know what you had to go through to feel that. But it lives with you whether you do it again or not. So as a consumer, it's deeper because you have a measured goal. The developer, which is a big part of what our ecosystem is built on, from navigating you from creator, a player like consumer, to the creator of the IP, which is its own reward. You're developing something that never existed, is in your mind.
That's
maybe even
exciting.
In your heart, right?
Yeah.
And so you're learning a language that allows you to program it, no matter what. It doesn't have to just be coding, because they're like object-oriented platforms and all these things. But to contribute to something that, one, it fulfills you, because that thing being done is a measure of all of those other pre-existing characteristics that say something about you as a person.
Yes.
I am a creator of interactive media that affects people directly.
Yeah.
And even if I don't have any players and it's just me playing it over and over, I built this. It's like me listening to my song over and over again, and I'm like appreciating the vocal inflections, the ad-libs, the chordal things, like all this stuff, or the feeling that I had when I wrote it. And I took it from my mind, this experience, and to wax, and now everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing. The other thing, and this is honestly to me the most important thing, for one thing, it all corresponds with fulfillment. So I was telling Scott yesterday, he's his first con.
I mean,
he'd never been to a convention before.
Of any kind?
Like, not a gaming convention.
Not a gaming one.
And I think the first time was when I took him to the Essence Festival this year. But he was like, and I took him to meet one of my friends who is a visual artist. And I was like, yeah, you know, Scott doesn't understand. No, Scott said, I mean, I don't really understand your world, but like, I'm getting it. And so when we walked away, I said, what don't you understand about it? And he said, well, I don't know why a person would, I don't know how you like a Pokemon so much. You want to dress like a Pokemon. And I said,
that's my thoughts.
And I said, that's a really great observation. I said, have you ever heard of Fanatics Fest? And he's like, yeah, I heard of it, right? This was huge. The first one happened last year. Sold out in a week or so. But it was an entire convention around fanfare. You've got millennial demographics, people dressed like Hulk Hogan. Okay, that man had on underwear and a blonde wig. And I'm talking about even people of color were dressing like a blonde-haired white guy who was a wrestler like 30 or something plus years ago. Because he represented something that touched their lives so deeply that they are connected to him. It is not about him physically, but they want other people to know
that they feel that
I'm so connected to the representation of who this person showed up as in the world, that I'm resilient like he was. I can be legendary, iconic like he was. And even though you don't know me, this costume allows you to see a part of me. And in this environment, you have to be like me in some respect or you wouldn't be here.
So it's communication.
Yes.
The dressing up is communication.
But it's communication, it's representation.
Yes.
It's inclusion. Yeah. It's acceptance. It's the thing that society,
going back to what we said.
Yes. Says that's weird and people don't do that.
Yeah.
So now there's this entire vortex.
Yeah.
That, by the way, out of the 8 billion people on the planet, a minimum of 4 billion who happen to identify as gamers are now saying, I want to be in that society. I identify with that level of acceptance.
So 50% of us
are gamers. Yeah. Which is crazy to think about.
But it's so primitive as well from what you're saying, because it's the journey, it's the I have to complete. Yeah, there's something to complete at the end. But it's also, if you think about what you were saying before, some people will complete it, some people will do it quicker than others. Right? Yeah, the game. Well, if you think about that in terms of a pack, the person that completes a part of that game the quickest or the strongest would have their place in the pack. So it's understanding what your role is. And primitively, we seek that, don't we?
Yes. And so much so that now a lot of people, businesses are targeting streamers.
Yes.
The streamers are performing for an audience of people that are watching them get to their fulfillment. Yeah. They're literally watching your journey of playing a game or however you're entertaining, whatever value you're adding to their life. Yeah. That's an audience that is appreciating the fact that you're connected. And so I think it really matters to understand, for one thing, that gamers are they're people who are searching for an acceptance that the other half of society have maybe assimilated. Maybe there's conformism. Maybe they haven't stepped over. Maybe they don't know. Yeah. But either way, when and if ever they decide, there is a whole world waiting of acceptance for them. Yeah. And so if you got to think, those 4 billion people cannot be monoliths. So who are they? And so when I meet people and they're like, you're a gamer? Yeah. I said, see, the way you said that sounds like it's more of a you problem than mine. You know? Yeah. Because you decided what that person looks like or sounds like. And like, I'm always like, I thought it was just me and you talking, but you brought all your preconceived notions with you. So I'm going to talk to all y'all.
That's the best.
It's just like these people, I'm one of them. We love anime.
Yeah.
We love comics.
Yeah.
We love cosplay, video games, board games, card games, tabletop games. What do all these things have in common? The truth is, all of them are stories.
And community.
They're community. That's the byproduct of what happens because of their representation, because of their existence, because someone created them.
Yeah.
And now I find purpose in taking this group of people that I'm authentically and deeply connected to and building worlds for them.
I mean, that's quite big to build worlds for people.
Yeah.
That's I understand that is exactly what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But these are worlds where you can be anything you want to be.
Anything you want to be.
Which is
in real life or digitally.
Yeah. And that is mind-blowing. Because that's your thing.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
Not many people can say, I create worlds where you can be anything you want to be. Mm-hmm. So how did you go from the little girl praying to God to the girl that creates worlds for other people to be whoever they want to be in?
I think they're the same person. I think when I'm there praying, I'm praying to something I can't even see.
Correct.
Because I'm already in a world where I don't even know what's going to happen, but I know I'm not alone in it.
Yeah.
And I know that there's something bigger than me that will just guide me to where I need to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that children are so fearless.
And free. It's what I said about your energy.
I think being fearless is so freeing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Behavioral conformism.
Yeah.
Conformism.
Yeah. We knew what you meant.
Right? is incarcerating.
Yes, it is. It is. Every part of society is.
Yeah.
Every part of society. If you are in an education system, you are. I say this so many, so the listeners will get bored of this, but just because I'm with you and it's the moment in secondary schools here, they talk about, especially for the neurodiverse kids that don't fit
high school?
in. Yes.
Okay.
So when you go to high school here, if you are somebody that can't sit still, that doesn't enjoy being in big groups, people finds it easier to be in smaller groups, whatever.
Right.
You don't fit into the class. They put you in isolation.
Right.
The system puts you into isolation.
Correct.
So all the things that we've just spoken about of something bigger outside of ourselves, tapping in, creating community, creating the fact that you can be different and fit in.
Yes.
The system here and probably across the world says if you don't fit in, you have to be on your own.
Correct.
And that's where and that's my interest in the gaming, the music, anything really, theatre, is that you're no longer on your own. So even if you're dressing up as a Pokemon, you're like you said before, somebody else is too.
Correct.
So you're not on your own in isolation.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all very cyclical.
Yeah.
Someone's mind created a Pokemon.
Yeah.
They created a digital animation.
Yeah.
And some other person that they connected to wrote a narrative about why they exist.
Yeah.
And they told a story that a person that watched the story happen connected to the story, felt empowered by the story, and now it's lasted them throughout their lives, and now they're celebrating their boundless existence because they feel empowered because they saw a Pokemon or watched an anime or saw Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Superman
like
all
of these things, right, which are under like a gaming geek diaspora.
Yeah.
That's what I call it because it's an equalizer. It's not about race, gender, those cultures. It's its own culture.
Yeah.
And the kids that like watched anime, they were bullied.
Yeah.
And now it's being celebrated. Anime is the #1 streamed content on Netflix.
Yes, I know.
And so it's so mainstreamed that you've got all of these people who are just excited that they get to be freer without recompense for the first time in their lives.
Yes.
And so cosplay, which is, it's a big thing, but it is attached to the representation here. And normally, and I joke about this, but I say like Halloween is just I don't know, in other parts of the world, I think it's the same way. But in New York, it is like the biggest holiday.
It's huge. Actually, when we saw you, Scott, when we came to see you, the Halloween thing was going on, and it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And you don't see as many kids as you see adults.
Yeah.
And I kind of joke, but it's like, this is the day that society has decided, all right, everybody, you can finally be who you want to be, but only for this one day and within these hours. And the hours, if you notice, grow longer and longer.
Yeah.
And when you wake up, now you get to be whoever it is you want to be. And the reality is like there's some men, literally, they get to be cross-dressers.
Yeah.
Because they want to be. But in cosplay, you could dress up as an anime character who's a woman on a Tuesday. You don't need a reason, you know? And it's like, it's just the freedom of knowing the world will only accept this part of me today. The women that want to be more sexually free get to wear thigh highs and, and get to be like dancers and strippers and wear the wig. And it's like, girl, you better wear that pink wig tomorrow. It's like, I just think that if we build new worlds, we would create so much freedom. And from that freedom, the byproduct of that is just creativity that's boundless, new worlds, innovations that like camaraderie, the formulation of meaningful, significant connections, those synapses that we were talking about, how they finally get to connect because they found a place where they get to be inflated and grow. And we are diminishing our existence by conforming to society's perception of what's appropriate. And that is so exhausting for me.
Oh, I mean, there's no way that you could ever be anything other than you. And I think the
for
idea,
better or for worse.
but the idea that you would exist in a world where you didn't have this expression of self, or this world where you could meet all these interesting people and understand things on this level just doesn't make sense. And it makes me think of this. I think we must be the only species that does this, where there's these so many rules of how we've got to be. I mean, you look at the animal kingdom and okay, they have this instinct and they live in survival, but the rules that we apply in the human species just seems to be about power and control.
Yes.
And so everything you're saying is about freedom and expression.
Correct.
And I wonder why, because we haven't actually explicitly said power and control, but that's what the systems are.
I agree.
So,
and I do think there's an interesting sort of antithesis, right, between power and control. If you don't create a system where someone is in power, you create this independence that causes a type of freedom that disrupts control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, in the gaming world, how do you create that? Because obviously, again, being a woman, I'm not saying there's no other women in the gaming industry, but being a woman in the gaming industry, do you find that you still come across power and control?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Like I literally, when I say I exist in this like place, I am a complete disruptor. Yeah. You can't even be an innovator and not be a disruptor.
Yeah.
Like that story, that's on my Instagram where I say it started from a Brooklyn apartment. That was already disruptive.
Yes.
It was like, I go to all the conventions and it's like, for me, I was like, okay, you got 150,000 people that are also connected. They're essentially chasing this representation everywhere. Everywhere there is a Comic-Con. My friend I'm talking about lives in Florida. He flew to London because he's an artist. He wants to be around his people, sell his art. You're going to go to Comic-Con in San Diego, Comic-Con in New York, PAX East West. All these different conventions are popping up because the representation is so needed. Yeah. But what about the other days in their lives? How are they now being fulfilled? I meet you at a convention and we hit it off and we're like new besties.
Yeah.
And I'm on the other side of the world and we're hours apart. And it's just like, God, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid going to like a little, in New York we call them bodegas, but like, I don't even know what we call them. They're just like corner stores, I guess, in Texas. But you play on an arcade machine and two strangers are now magnetized to this piece of hardware that they get to play, and you play rounds until you run out of quarters.
Yeah.
And then you leave and it's like, well, bye, friend.
Aww.
And it's like, I don't know if I'll ever see you again. And I'm like, I got to build a world where we can first go to a place in real life and this connection doesn't have to end. And then I need to digitize this world so that it can scale faster than the physical world can scale. But I have to scale this world. And that's where it started, because it's just the sense of belonging, the human need to connect. And
yes.
So there's so many things I have to disrupt, because number one, gamers are people sitting in a basement playing video games for 20 hours in our boxers eating Cheetos. I'm like, we only do that on Tuesdays. But I'm like, that's not just true.
Yeah.
Right? And then two, gamers are not social.
Yes,
that's and I'm like, not true.
Yeah,
right?
That's what people
And
think.
so I started in an apartment, great proof of concept, until I was about to get kicked out of the apartment because there were tens of thousands of people going every single day, becoming members in a apartment.
No.
Yes.
The tiny little space.
It wasn't tiny though. I had a cool duplex. I did. It was about like 1,700 square feet, which is really dope, especially in New York.
Yeah.
But I had to open another one. I ended up having 3 duplexes, like 1 townhouse and 2 duplexes in Bushwick, 10 minutes walking distance from each other. Each served a different purpose because we're that unique. One was a creator house where podcasts were being filmed and content was being created. One was our membership lounge. And another one was for private events where you could celebrate just birthday parties. And it was generating money. And I had to combine them all because all of them are residential spaces. And then we moved into our Times Square space.
I mean, Times Square is
But the point is that like people were it was if you build it, they will come. And with that, it's so disruptive because when it didn't exist. And then I created the first membership ever for gamers. It's like, what does that even mean? It disrupted the pay-to-play model, which is what everybody knew. You go to like Dave & Buster's in Barcade and you walk in and it's free, but you have to pay to play. All of our games were free because you weren't paying to be there to play the games.
Yes.
That was just an added.
Yeah.
You already have the games.
Yeah.
Why are you going to a place that have the same games that you have?
So they were going for the feeling.
They were going for the feeling, the camaraderie, the community, the food, the drinks, the vibes, the music, the experiences, the events. They're part of being able to contribute to it. Some of the games we showcased were created by people that they never met. So they're playing independent games that were representative of who they were because the narratives were different. The IP was different. They were going for a more enriching experience. And that is invaluable because it's feeding people.
It is feeding people.
Yeah.
That's the soul.
Feeding people that are starving, by the way.
Yeah.
Because society said, you I don't know if you get to eat today.
And you don't look like you fit in.
Yeah. You don't even look like you're hungry.
Yeah. And you're going, no, you're starving. Come over here.
Famished.
Yeah.
Because they're not being nourished because they're not understood. And so all of these things, they're so necessary. And when I'm talking to people, the hardest thing is trying to get them outside of what they think a gamer is. Imagine if I'm talking about half of the people on the planet and you just think they're robots.
Yeah.
And you've never talked to a robot before. Part of that is a societal depiction that is wrong. It's like a narrative that it is a very male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
So what people are seeing is like maybe like this white guy or Asian guy that's playing on a $3,000 PC.
Yeah.
But they're ignoring the numbers because 50% of that 4 billion, they're women.
Talk to me about that. Because when you were, before you created this and you'd been in the music industry and you were touring the world. So you were getting to see, again, outside of your world, which a lot of people don't get to experience. So you're going to all these different places, seeing different cultures, different people, performing, feeling part of a new world each time, I'm sure. And then you'd always liked gaming, had you? Or was that something that was later for you?
Yeah, no, I started playing video games when I was 4.
Right.
And it was society that says, girls don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're being
certainly
weird.
Then. Yeah, certainly then.
It's true.
It's
very
true.
Much so. And so you kind of like love it in secret.
Yeah.
You love it all in secret because, you know, some things are in you, but like if you've played a video game and you searched for the princess playing Super Mario Brothers, and you enjoyed the journey of losing, and then the resilience. Like when you are ambitious and tenacious, you are resilient. It's a part of who you are.
Yeah.
This game, you don't get to the end without being resilient.
Yeah.
And relentless.
Yeah.
You're like, how many times are you going to lose? I'm like, until I win.
And that actually, if you think about the entrepreneur,
Yes,
that is the entrepreneur.
Absolutely. It's like, I'm going to fail again and again, but I'm going to keep trying because one, I'm built like this.
Yeah.
But two, I'm going to win at something. I'm going to beat this game.
Yeah.
If it's not this title, it'll be the next one I play, but I'm going to keep playing. And so when I talk to parents, I'm like, you got to capitalize on the opportunity gaming presents you.
Yes.
You're trying to connect with your kid. Here you are. Pick up the other controller. Ask them questions. Get inside their minds. What makes them like this game over the other one? Is it the artwork? You might have a little artist on your hand. Is it the narrative and the story? You might have a writer on your hand. Like, you don't know, but these are mediums of connection. Gaming is the connector. It's the grand connector and the grand equalizer. And I'm so passionate about it because I'm passionate about people. I just feel like I'm in the business of building worlds for people.
Wow.
That just may be misunderstood. And I think it's the majority of people.
What's so interesting about what you're saying there, and it's really got my brain going, because a lot of the conversations I have with parents when they're in my room in there and they're telling me about what's going on for them is about, they think they're being a bad parent because their kids are in their room playing their, computer games. And I said, I don't think you need to worry about it, because actually the way the world is now, it's very different to when I was growing up, where everyone played outside.
Right.
Now, where you feel like they're on their own in the room, they're hooked up to maybe, 10 other people playing the game they're playing together. And I think there's this idea that all the games are violent and all the games are creating this sort of psychotic mindset in people. And everything you've just said there is so interesting, because you're saying, actually, parents, ask them, what do they like about the game? What is it? Is it the music? Is it the speed? Is it the artistry?
Yes.
And there's so much more to it than just this big scary monster infiltrating your child's mind.
Every game isn't like that, right?
Yeah.
And so to what you're saying, empowering. Remember we were talking about, I was a kid and parents should be more vulnerable, open?
Yeah.
Let your kid teach you something.
Yes. That's amazing.
So empowering.
Yeah.
For, like, I've seen kids, the parents are like, they're picking up a controller. For one thing, a lot of parents have held that controller before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they're doing something silly, and then the kid goes, no, you have to press this, silly. And they're laughing. But they become the expert, which children never are, to a parent who has more experience than them.
Yeah.
You feed them by allowing them to teach you.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. And it's like, and then another thing you said, which is crazy. I grew up in the hood, right? Now, I know my mom would feel differently about this because she worked hard to keep me out of these places. But her life was very different than my biological father's life. And my biological father was in and out of homes and stuff like that in places, and he was in the hood. South Oak Cliff is the hood. Erykah Badu and I grew up in the same hood, right? She didn't even believe I was from the hood when I met her. And I was like, why don't you believe me? You're you. What do you mean? We both made it out. But it was safer to play inside than it was outside.
Of course.
And so literally this lady that I call my dear was like, go in there and go play your video game.
Of course, to keep you safe.
Yes. And I watched gaming be an equalizer for me and build community around me, because I was the girl with the system on the street.
Yes.
Other kids would, kids pick about all sorts of things, right? I used to have long, like, wavy hair. And I grew up in Texas. So there's like this whole Southern weird thing, and girls would pick on you and all this stuff. And kids don't care about that a lot, right? I used to want to shave my head. I was like, girl, if hair is going to be the dividing tool between us, you could have it, I'm like, I just want you to be my friend, right?
Aww.
But I watched it. None of those things mattered. The boys picking on the girls, it didn't matter, because everybody had to beat me finding the princess, and none of them could. So you have to come back here tomorrow, right? And so I think it always has had this very special place in my life, because I was an interesting child. Like, I spoke Spanish, right? I was like, and I honestly started learning sign language, and I was a voracious reader, and I was just a nerd. I'm still a nerd.
Yeah.
But I think nerds are like, society has allowed nerds to be cool because the influencers are the artists and the pacemakers.
Yeah.
And you've got backpack rappers, and you don't need to be on the streets to be a rapper that speaks truth.
Yes.
And then there's all of these other people that magnetize to them because they are a more accurate depiction of how they feel. And so now you can't argue with authenticity.
Yeah.
Society doesn't have that power.
Yes.
And that's why the worlds that I love to build, they're so authentic. I'm like, try me. You can't challenge my authenticity. You may not understand it, and that's okay. But all these people behind me, and Scott always says community builds immunity.
Yeah.
We are very immune.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't argue with authenticity.
No, you can't. It's the most, because it's saying
Yes.
that I am, again, going back to that higher state that you're born in. This is the top level. This is where I am.
Right.
And it frightens you because you're so far from it.
Yes.
And it's not meant to frighten anyone.
Correct.
But if you can't be authentic yourself, then obviously there's something going on for you. But it's projection.
Yes.
It's projection because most people can't
totally
face their
agree.
own shame,
That's true.
their own guilt,
That's
their
true.
own demons.
It's
So
true.
they project it onto you.
I agree.
Because you irritate their demons.
I agree.
Just by being free.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's the whole misery loves company thing.
That's
right?
so true. So true.
Yeah.
And actually what you're creating is joyful.
Yeah.
Because it allows people to be seen in a way that they're not accepted in other forums.
Right.
But for you as well, being that kid that was safe for doing that and building community doing that, and like you say, the equalizer, I love that.
Yeah.
It just takes everything else away.
Right.
And you're immersed.
It's true.
And it's very quantum.
Yeah.
Because if you meet someone at a Comic-Con, there's an entanglement of cellular energy
Right.
in that moment.
It's true.
And it's never separated.
Right.
That's the idea. The physics now says quantum entanglement is real. Once you've, aligned that way and combined that way, it lasts forever.
It's so true.
It never goes.
It doesn't.
But if you're then able to reconnect quantumly,
Yes.
from you're in America or I'm in the UK and we stay in touch,
Right.
we can still feel that entanglement.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what you're really sort of expressing here about the gaming world.
Right.
Is that it's about feeling that entanglement.
Yeah, it is.
And you don't need to be present all the time to have that experience, but you've provided both.
Correct. And it's, yesterday was like the con closed at 6:00. And there were these 3 girls that walked over, and one of them was from Wales and one was from Manchester. And she was like, "Oh, it's almost over." That's my accent.
I loved it.
But it was like, I saw the sadness because they had come from far to be around the people that they wanted to be around.
Yeah.
And I felt like, God, I want these Coexist houses everywhere so that now you can leave and keep feeling the same thing over and over with the people that you just want to be around because you're so safe here.
Do you think you would put them everywhere?
Oh, absolutely. And that's
the goal.
That is the goal.
Wow.
And it is, you talking about that world perspective that's big, that is big.
Yeah.
Because, things are financial.
Yes.
But it's also doing enough work, which I did before, right? I had to do that work to disrupt an entire system, a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
To show people, I know you think that you got it all sorted, but there are still needs and they may not be yours, so you don't understand them, but they're mine. And I wonder if I'm alone. So let's give it a go. And I saw that I wasn't alone. I actually saw that I was so not alone that now part of my purpose in creating this initial thing was to really scale this thing and continue to just impart this level of representation, fulfillment in people's lives, however they want to show up in it. We have this thing where we go like, how do you want to coexist today? Because we're not telling you how to feel. We're just acknowledging that it's okay for you to feel whatever you feel.
And that you see them.
You're seeing.
So for those that don't understand the concept fully yet, although
Yeah.
I think you've explained it beautifully, you've got these at the moment in Times Square, you've got these 3 floors, and this is where people can come.
Yep.
Explain the floors. I know you explained the apartments and everything, but just sort of give us the idea.
Yeah. Imagine like a Soho house.
Yeah.
Right? It's got multiple floors. The restaurant's on the bottom. You've got like membership spaces or whatever in other places. It's like that. It's just a lounge where the aesthetic, the ecosystem, the programming, one is powered by community. So rather than us reaching outside and bringing events and stuff like that in, we create certain themes, but we also make it available for our members.
Yes.
Who we understand have brands, they're entrepreneurs, they're thought leaders, they're in real estate, because gamers no one's one thing.
Yeah.
Right? So now this is the space where you get to carry out whatever you want or amplify your voice, whatever. So on the main floor, it's very loungy, couches, and there's board games, card games, tabletop games, and it matters that we created an area for it. Yeah. Because a lot of places that have board games and all that stuff, they just like throw them on the floor, put them on a shelf, right? Yeah. And we want people to know, no, we've carved out space for you. Like you belong here. And then there's a bar, and the inclusion for me is like all encompassing. So the bar has mocktails, because you do not need to drink alcohol in order to, and I always say, because one of my best friends, he's Muslim. Yeah. And I always hate that, like, I get to have this amazing cocktail and they're like, oh, here's some cranberry juice, Yeah. And so our mocktails are really dope, and actually so evolved that if you want, you could add a shot to them and it becomes a cocktail, right?
Yeah,
so
I love
like
that.
Even with that, you can be vegan, you can be pescatarian, you can be lacto-pesco-ovo. There's something for everyone. Yeah. So even the bar is indicative of that inclusion. Wow. And then there's like different segmented areas. There's like the Citadel, which, is kind of like an area where people do kind of like podcasts. It's very vibey, LED lighting, but there's gaming everywhere, because we want people to have the conduit that may have brought them there readily available for them. Yeah. But if that's not your jam or why you're here, there are all these other things that you will gravitate to. And then there's a podcast room that we're building called The Pod in the back, because we would have so many podcasts that before it was interrupting like certain events because people needed quiet. So we decided to carve out space based on the need. Yeah. And so the main floor, we call it the Coexist floor, because it's just very communal. A lot of networking events and stuff happen there, and like I believe in family around food and beverage. So we've got the bar and all this stuff. If you go up the stairs, that's the Coliseum. And so true to like a Coliseum with Gladiator, it's where more of our competitions happen. It's esports. And so you have like PCs, on one wall, you've got PlayStation 5s, Nintendo 6. So you got like next gen consoles and PCs. Wow. But then there's a small little room that's actually a music studio. And it's because, I want to make sure that the creatives, like I get it, right? Yeah. That we carved out these things, whether it's music and game, or you want to use it as a streaming area, whatever your use is, where you want to focus on that audio, it's there for you. And then there's like a pool table, and then foosball table, and then there are tables and chairs. Again, so if you don't want to play any of those things surrounding you, you just want to vibe.
Sounds like the coolest place ever.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And I like built this place with my hands. And when people say that, I'm talking about nails popping off every day. I was building it, sheetrocking the walls and building the bars with 4x4s and putting down, vinyl panels on the floor. And
that is so sexy, by the way.
Girl, it didn't feel sexy.
No, but I know the men listening are like, she is hot.
That's so funny. I'm like, toggle bolt, And then you go downstairs, and that's actually our speakeasy lounge. And so it's totally different. Like when you open up the door, there's like a chandelier. It's like gold, on the walls. Yeah. And then you go downstairs and it's like red carpet and it's all gold, everything. So it's very swanky. It's still quirky, but it's swanky. Yeah. And the thing is, there are games down there. But if you're not into games like that, you still get to coexist. There are lounge areas. There's a little stage where we have our live performances. We've had classes there, workshops. There's a DJ booth. Like there's cocktail tables. There's another private bar. So it's like all these things. It's really just about building the infrastructure that allows the space to happen, where if you need the resource, it's there for you.
It does genuinely feel like there's a whole new world there. Yeah. Like everything you've said, it's just I can see it. I've never
Yeah.
seen it, but I can see it and I want to go.
Yeah.
That's how you've described it. I want to go because, as I said at the beginning, I'm not a gamer, and I'm wondering why now. Because as a kid, we had a Commodore 64.
Oh wow. Okay.
And at that time,
Yeah.
I'm going back 30 many. Well, we'll stop there.
Yeah.
Many years ago, and the games were fun, and I liked them. And then I was massively into Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh gosh.
That was my
Sonic
my
is
thing.
the GOAT.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yes.
And then from there, I kind of lost it. And I think it's because anything that required too much thinking at the time made me feel like it was work.
Got it.
And I was just thinking as you were talking about your space, I was thinking, I want to go there because it sounds like so much fun. And I think so maybe had I have stuck to games that felt like fun.
Right.
And there was one on, I think it was the Spectrum. I can't remember what it was called. You know, the little Spectrum thing. Is it called the Spectrum? It was like a tiny little keyboard.
Oh.
I can't remember what it was called now, but it was called Paperboy.
Okay.
And so it was a very, I like the really.
Oh, the game.
Yeah.
Paperboy.
Yeah.
I've heard it. Never played it.
It's so
But-
simple.
Okay.
If it's simple.
Are you throwing papers?
Yes.
Okay.
So anything that's really basic.
Yeah. Yeah.
requires no thought.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think because things got harder
Got it.
and things were more technical in terms of you had to
Right.
press this and do that and just be quick,
Right.
my brain,
Yeah.
too much information,
Got it.
shuts down.
Well, I'm going to tell you something exciting that you don't need it. Validation is for parking, but it does validate what you're saying.
Yeah.
Out of the $203 billion industry gaming is, the largest revenue generator at $103 billion is mobile gaming,
Right.
and 65% of mobile gamers are women.
Wow. So
I
we
think
like
our lives are
simple.
hard enough.
That is exactly what I was thinking. It is too hard to have extra stuff
Yeah.
that's hard.
Yeah.
So it's that idea that something's really simple but fun and
Yes.
escapism for me,
Yes.
but also the completing it. Because when I used to collect all the gold rings,
Right.
even the sound ding, 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 ding
Yes.
with Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yes.
I loved that because it was simple.
I agree.
So maybe I am a gamer. I'm just not understanding what I need to do.
I think there's a gamer in everybody.
Yeah.
But I do think that the mobile gaming is growing so exponentially because
Yes.
people they want to be immersed in activity,
Yeah.
but that doesn't feel cumbersome or weighted,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a testament to the kind of value that it can add to life.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, it's not going to grow. It's not getting smaller.
No.
90% of everyone under 18 is a gamer.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter is.
Yeah.
She loves it. In fact, one last question on the gaming thing.
Yeah.
The game Roblox is I don't know any child that hasn't become immersed in that. My daughter was one of them, and it's still a big thing now. And Minecraft, they're the two ones that I hear over and over again from the young people. What is it about Roblox that's been so popular everywhere?
For one thing, Roblox and Minecraft both are game engines.
Yes.
So the same way you have like a Unity and Unreal, a game engine is literally what you leverage to build a game.
Got you.
Right? So it's a platform that you can build on top of using different assets that they individually have. Unity's in C#, Unreal's in C++.
Right.
It was brilliant. So there's a guy that actually created Minecraft. It's like a very unique scenario.
Yeah.
Mojang ended up publishing the game. That's the publisher, but Microsoft bought it, right, at $26 billion. So this guy is in a very happy place.
Wow.
But and both of them are built off of like voxel, which is like that blocky style.
Yeah.
But they're game engines. So they are targeted, maybe not even targeted, but they do appeal to kids dominantly.
Yeah.
Because now kids don't need to code.
Yes.
They can take the existing assets and build. It's like object-oriented code in a sense.
Yes.
But now they're building characters out of these blocks.
Yeah.
They're building worlds out of these blocks. Honestly, it's like a digitization of Legos.
Got you. That
Right?
makes so much sense.
And so not only are they building the games, other kids can now play their games.
Now it makes. I didn't know any of that. Because,
And then when you
again,
build a game, you got to have some kind of like way to monetize it.
Yeah.
So now there is a version. It's been very controversial because like they don't get a lot of money for it,
Yeah.
but they are taking the time to build this IP within their ecosystem. which means their ecosystem is actually valueless without this IP because they are not building it themselves.
Right.
So they've sort of, I think it's a pivot to their model. It may have been a long form because like you don't ever know a pivot. You don't know the roadmap, right? But I think they've taken pages from Fortnite's book.
Yes.
And maybe they would say Fortnite's taking a page out of their book.
Yeah.
But they're now targeting businesses who can build in their worlds. And so companies are literally paying minimum of like $500,000 to literally build a store or a Roblox world in Roblox.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It is. So it will continue to be innovative.
Yeah.
And that's where like my company fits in, I think.
Yeah.
Because for us, gamification is not even just about points and badges, right?
Yeah.
It's really the next iteration of what gamification means, by the way, which directly comes back full circle to everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
When you play something, what's your incentive to play it? And then once you've played it, what's your reward for engaging with it?
Yeah.
Gamification is a loyalty incentive program is the base level of what gamification is, right?
Yes.
A loyalty incentive. You are rewarding a person for their commitment to whatever you've built.
Yeah.
And gamification for us, the extrapolation of that is leveraging this industry, incentives and rewards. That's it. These are very human things.
Yeah.
Because it's all psychological.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right? And so that is, you're not going to get everybody to understand that. But the proof is in what you build and what you create and what you leverage so that you can build something that now there's a crossover integration. You simply get to interact with something that was created and you feel very rewarded in it.
It's funny you should say that because with the app that I'm releasing, there's a bit of gamification in that. So if you complete the tasks, which are all, it's called self, which are all about yourself.
Yes.
So self-care, self-understanding, self-compassion, all of those things, then you are rewarded.
Right.
But the next add-on to that will be that you, the more you're rewarded, the more you sort of are seen in the community.
Right.
And not that you become a community leader, but you can become a mentor.
Right.
And that you can become somebody that is seen as someone that's been on this journey for a bit longer.
Yes.
They're here to help.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they're going to get involved in anything that's therapeutic.
Right.
But I guess it's the buddy system.
Yeah. They're rewarding your commitment.
Yeah.
And they're saying, I trust you more now.
Yeah. Yeah,
to share. Right? Yeah.
To share and to be seen as somebody that I can look up to.
Right.
In the same way that you said earlier that there are some people that are really good at completing some games and then they're acknowledged that you did that.
Right.
And I want to do that too.
Yeah.
And I think that's we're motivated by the stories of others.
Yes.
So when that was suggested to me by the app developers, I thought that's so important actually because coming back to your story, some people be motivated to maybe go and play a game when they haven't picked up a game for a long time or to look at, oh, actually, I feel a bit like Jaye. I don't feel like I quite fit in. And if she can do that, maybe I could do something in my space.
Right.
So the idea of having rewards and incentives, but it leads to connection.
Yes.
And I think that's where we started. It's this idea of you connecting with God because you didn't know where your mum was.
Yes.
And now you're creating the world where people can connect to each other.
Even if the connection is to yourself.
Yeah.
Because so many people are disconnected from themselves.
Well, more so now than ever before.
Right.
But I think you connect to yourself more when you're with others.
You can. I think so if you're willing, right?
Because you can see reflections of yourself.
If you're willing to.
If you're willing to, because that's where we started, isn't it? Where we were talking in there about being alone with your thoughts.
Right.
If you're willing to explore yourself.
Yeah.
And it's when you're with others that you really see yourself.
It's true. I think so too. Yeah.
Do you know, I mean, if you'd have said to me a year ago, you're going to have a guest on talking about the gaming world.
Yeah.
I probably would have thought, no thanks. But actually, because I was that person that had preconceived ideas. I was that person that you said you've brought all your ideas with you. Today, my mind has been blown for so many reasons. One, because you're so beautiful in every single possible way. You're so intelligent. People are engaged more with other people's stories. You are testament to that today. Your story is fascinating. You are fascinating. You're beautiful. And thank you, Scott, for bringing her here today.
In my honor.
The beauty that you exude from your soul. And also, before we do wrap up, I must say, where can people find you?
Yeah. So everything is LettaJ Music, LettaJ Music, including LettaJmusic.com. In my bios, you can find stuff about Coexist too. So it's Coexist Gaming, and we're on every platform, like LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. It's Coexist Game House on TikTok. But if you go to coexistgaming.com, that's the hub.
Yeah.
You can see all of the things on the bottom or the top of the website.
And I hope that all of the people that have heard today come and look at what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Because you are just, from every angle, visual, audio, feeling, kinesthetic, you got it all. Follow Jaye, and thank you so much. By the way, you came all the way from America.
Yeah.
I know you're not here just for me.
I mean, I'm here initially because of you.
Oh, well,
You were the impetus of the trip.
Wow.
Everything else followed. BBC, all that stuff followed after Ella.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank
so
you.
you were enough.
Oh.
For sure.
Genuinely love you.
I mean it.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Jaye.
For sure.